Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 27 of the Hougie and Grinder show. Now, Kev, you're familiar with the 27 Club, right?
I am absolutely am.
27 Club, for those you are, okay. So for anybody who doesn't know, 27 Club, it's kind of an informal list of musicians who all died at the age of 27. That includes the likes of Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison from The Doors, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, and a bunch of other ones. Anyway, so I want to ask you, Kev,
Yeah.
being down 2-1 to the Ducks, are the Oilers going to join the 27 Club this series?
And
Do you think that we can beat the Anaheim out of death?
At this point, just the way that they've been playing even in the first game, second game, and third game, I'm starting to kind of lean to there's a possibility that they might not be able to beat Anaheim. Let's talk about that a little bit here. And when I before the season began, or before the playoffs began, and I found out we were going against Anaheim, I was like, this could be done in 5 or 6 games, right? Just because of the group that we have on the Edmonton Oilers, a lot of them on that team have either played in 1 or 2 of the last Stanley Cup finals. So they know how hard it is, and they know how hard they have to play to get there. With an Anaheim team that has 0 playoff experience in the last 5 years. I just thought I would give them 1 or 2 wins, but then I keep forgetting, and I tell this to everybody. There's one key factor that we're missing out on when it comes to the Anaheim Ducks. It's not the young players, their goaltending. Say what you want about Joe Quenneville. The guy knows how to win. He's done it 3 times with the Chicago Blackhawks. We are going against a skilled coach. And like you said last year and the year before, when Knobloch goes against somebody like a grizzly veteran coach that has won the games, to me, he always gets outcoached. And I think he's getting outcoached in this series too. These guys, this Anaheim team, through the season, have, and you might have even seen it a little bit the season before, closer to the end, but you're seeing a team that kind of reminds you of a young Oilers team, a young Connor McDavid with the resiliency. Never out of the game. This Oilers team has been out of the games, even the game that they won, they were out of. They had a big lead and then gone, second period. I don't feel confident, and I know you're going to segue into this, and actually, let me help you segue into it. You're talking to me offline about my thoughts on Ingram, and listen, Skinner's not. I don't know what happened with Philly and Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh finally won a game, but it wasn't Skinner in net, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, I think that he would be a lot better if his defense was playing the way that they need to play. And I'll let you go into explaining to the people. Our defensemen and our coaching, I'm a little worried about the coaching, being out coach, but our defense is atrocious.
Well, Kev, you hit the nail on the head, in my opinion, buddy. Our defense now, before we get into the whole breakdown of it, we posted a video a couple weeks ago on TikTok talking about how Zach Werenski was a better defenseman than
Yeah.
Evan Bouchard. And yes, I said defensive defenseman, but I meant defenseman. Just general overall, doesn't matter, offensive or
Man,
defensive. Zach Werenski is a better defenseman than
yeah,
Bouchard.
they
Hey,
came out
now,
after you, dude. They came out after you in the comment
oh,
section there.
well, they did. They did. And I fucking argued back with a few of them. My particular favorite was a guy who said Evan Bouchard would skate circles around us. Well, yeah, probably because we don't play in the NHL, you stupid fuck. That's probably why he would skate circles around us. I don't know. I mean, do I look like an NHL hockey player? No. Maybe a fucking hot dog vendor, but not a fucking NHL hockey player. Like, fuck, dude. You know,
Barista.
I can sell a hot dog to you with the best of them, man. I'll get you a fucking bluesy lined up in the third row, no problem. But
with one of those
fuck.
guns. With one of those guns.
Fucking right. Fucking right. I'll use a t-shirt cannon to shoot a fucking hot dog at your face. Anyway.
Oh,
fuck.
Oh, fuck, that's funny.
So, anyway, back to so for all you Evan Bouchard lovers out there, tell me how it's been in this fucking series. Tell me, look me in the fucking face, or comment on our fucking videos or whatever, comment on the podcast, and tell me that Evan Bouchard has been good in this series, and I will call you a fucking liar either to your face or in the comments. Because he has been absolutely terrible. Darnell Nurse has been no fucking better, and Jake Wallman has been no fucking better. These guys cannot fucking defend. They can't. They Ekholm and Murphy are the only two defensemen that we have playing on our team that can actually fucking defend. And guess what? Yeah, you have the best scorers in the fucking world in Connor McDavid, and Leon Draisaitl's arguably up there. And okay, they got Phil the other night. Well, Phil should be pretty good, but when you let in fucking 7 because you can't fucking defend, you can't stop a rush, you can't fucking stop a crossing path, basic defensive bullshit.
Yeah,
it's just that's exactly what's happening. I don't think Connor Ingram is the problem. I don't think Stuart Skinner was the problem either. He was a problem, but he wasn't the problem.
Yeah,
and I've been saying this for fuck God knows how long, that the goddamn fucking defense is the problem. It's not the fucking defensive coach, as we've seen now that Paul Coffey's taken back over.
Yeah.
It's the fucking players. It's Evan Bouchard and Darnell Nurse in these two fucking albatross contracts, and Jake Wallman in his fucking newly minted fucking contract that are costing this team wins because they cannot fucking stop the rush. Or stop a fucking play, or be hard in the fucking corner, or have any semblance of fucking defensive capability at all. How in the fuck these guys got to the NHL being defensemen is fucking beyond me. I don't get it.
Now, the other thing too is, we were talking about it offline, but here's the other thing. They're playing against McDavid, like getting the poke checks and shit like that. Like, I don't know how many times he would come in doing a move that we've seen millions of times, and now they're starting to figure them out where they'll just poke they're not just poking his stick or poking the puck, getting it off his stick. He rolled his ankle, I think, in the second game there. Is he 100%? Is Leon Draisaitl come back too soon? Because, there was some talk that he wasn't going to be ready until at least the 5th game. Hyman looks slow. So I wonder about things like that too, where, there's so many, here's the other thing too, Matt. If the Edmonton Oilers, and you're going to hear it from me first, I'm going to call it right now. Okay. and I can't imagine you will disagree with me. We disagree on a lot of things. Sometimes we poke the bear. Sometimes we try to get the better of each other with just our slide remarks and stuff. And that's just part of our show. That's who we are. We've always been like that since we were kids. But I think there are times where you and I will be serious about something and agree on things. And I think this one you're going to agree with me. If the Edmonton Oilers get knocked out of the first round, there will be a coaching change. Without question, Knobloch will not be the coach anymore. Just because of seeing his coaching, like you call it out almost every time, like his inconsistency. Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? He couldn't group his defense, so that had to bring back Coffee. That looks bad on him too, even though he agreed to it, because he made the decision on having the coaching staff and being out coached by some pretty decent coaches. The other thing I can tell you right now is, I think the guys on the barn burner who you and I don't follow because we're not Flames fans or anything, but I think they kind of nailed it when they say like management is going to do a major overhaul on certain areas. They're going to have the money. I think we're going to have about, just from savings from McDavid plus the 10 million that goes up and a couple contracts coming off. I think we're around the 20 million plus. You could take a look and tell me. I think, Bobrovsky hasn't re-signed. I don't think he's looking to not play again. You go after somebody like that to just, fix a Band-Aid or put a Band-Aid on something because he's obviously up there in age. Does Connor Murphy even want to come back to Edmonton? Somebody we need a player like that too. Is Roslovic a one-trick pony? There's so many things, but I can almost guarantee you that if we get kicked out, or if the Oilers get kicked out of the first round, I truly, truly believe that there will be a coaching change. And the other reason why I say that is when they signed him to his contract, it was literally days before McDavid did. And see, and there's you can't compare McDavid and Knobloch's contracts, the same. Connor was in control of his contract. Knobloch was still trying to get a job. And it wasn't certain, right? And they went all the way to the end and said, okay, we'll let you coach. It wasn't Bowman's decision to bring on Knobloch. I think that would have been, well, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was
Jackson.
yeah. So do you agree with that? Do you agree like you could see a major change in the coaching if we get kicked out of the first round?
Well, Kev, I know the show you're talking about, Barn Burner. They were I seen clip on TikTok about it, and I went and checked it out. I'll just say those guys at Barn Burner, yeah, they're Flames fans, but I mean they know the game pretty well. They've been doing it a long time, and they talked about the coaching changes and such. And so I just looked it up. That's what I was doing while you were talking to. We have almost $12 million in contracts alone coming off the books at the end of the season.
So
Now
we'll
that's
be
significant.
having that is, and then you got that extra 10 million where the
Yeah,
cap
if
goes
the
up.
cap goes up 10, we'll have $22 million in cap space to play with.
The
Now,
problem that is
hopefully-
who is significant that you would go after in the off season to try to help this team win.
I would re-sign Connor Murphy.
Yep.
And I'd re-sign Kasperi Kapanen. I'd re-sign Jack Roslovic. I'd consider re-signing Dickinson. I probably would not offer Adam Henrique a contract unless it's a league minimum.
I can't see them giving
I
him a
wouldn't
contract.
offer
I can't see them giving him a
Me
contract
either.
because I think they talked to him last year in the offseason asking if he would part ways from his contract, and he declined just like Nurse did. So I don't see Henry
Yeah.
coming back.
Yeah. So now, first off, I think if we get eliminated short anywhere short of the conference final, the Western Conference final, which I would assume we will run up against Colorado if we make it that far. We're probably, I don't know. I mean, if we make it to the Western Conference final, I still think you see some changes
Yeah.
in personnel. Now, I believe Knobloch, I think you're absolutely right. I've discussed it with you many times. Knobloch is being outcoached. He was outcoached last year in the Stanley Cup Finals by Paul Maurice, and he's being outcoached by Joel Quenneville right now. I think, let's face it, all you ever see him do is pair up Leon and Connor. That's the only move he's got.
Yeah.
He'll double shift Connor, and maybe that's why Connor's tired too. I think Connor, he's seen a lot of fucking miles the last 3 years, man. The dude has been rode hard and put away wet, and
Mhm.
Connor needs, I don't want to say a break, but he needs some, I don't know what the right word is for it. He needs some of the weight to be lifted off his shoulders by somebody else.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I agree.
he's
I agree
tired.
with that.
You
I
you
agree
can
with that.
tell by looking at him, he is tired. And let's face it, he's playing in both ends of the ice, like fucking, because he knows his defense can't defend. Um, and the dude is all over the ice. You see 97 at all four corners of the ice all fucking night. And that's got to take its toll on him. He's not getting any younger. He's not fucking 22 years old anymore.
Yeah.
And I would agree that he doesn't look 100%. He doesn't look like Connor. I think that ankle when Matthias Ekholm and him got tangled up at the blue line there, and he kind of rolled his ankle. I think that's
I think
nagging
it's
him.
significant. I think it's
And
significant.
I I believe that Leon Draisaitl came back too early. I think he's hurt. And Zach Hyman, he hasn't been 100% since last playoffs. I don't, or since he come back.
No.
Uh, he's been good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Hyman's been really good, but I don't think he's at 100% either. I don't
Yeah.
think Matthias Ekholm's at 100%. I think a lot of these guys are floating around the 85, 90% mark, and it's taking its toll. Now, as for your question regarding what happens when we get, or if we get knocked out in the first round, I believe you see a full coaching change. I think
Yeah.
everybody behind that bench gets ousted, and I believe that it needs to happen. I again, Chris Knobloch is being outcoached here, and especially on the Ducks' home ice. I mean, you've seen it in Game 3. Yes, it's home ice advantage, and they have the line matchup want, but why would you spread your resources all into one basket and then let them get the last change on you so you don't have one of your superstars out there? It's bizarre.
Here's the other thing too that somebody brought it up. I think it might have been Barn Burner again, or maybe it was Oilers Nation. Um, Joe Quenneville, hell of a coach. He's, you can
Hell of a
debate him
coach.
about the situation that happened in Chicago where he had to step away from the game. But when it comes to coaching, he knows how to coach. He's won the Stanley Cup 3 times. He also knows how to hire his own personnel to help
Yep.
him. And guess who his
Yep.
assistant coach is? Or at least
I
somebody
don't
told
know.
me.
I'm waiting.
Isn't Jay Woodcroft with Anaheim?
Hang on. No, I didn't want to see that. You fucking okay. Well, you got a guy like Scott Niedermeyer. So, special advisor to hockey operations is Scott Niedermeyer.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
Scott
the
Niedermeyer was one of the best defensemen to ever play the game, ever.
yeah, yeah.
Um, fantastic, fantastic fucking hockey player. Um, let's see. So, Joe, you're right, Kev. Jay Woodcroft is an assistant coach.
And who knows how
Um,
to play against McDavid than somebody that coached them for a couple of years.
well, we were talking about that last night. I was watching the Dallas game, and guess who the head coach in Dallas is? And they routed the Oilers a few times. Is fucking Glenn Gulletson, man.
Yeah.
And good on Gully for taking the head coaching job. I don't blame him. You know, I like Gulletson. Even, he turned the Calgary Flames around pretty well too when he was coaching there. He looked
Yeah,
really good.
yeah. And he's kind of picked up where Peter DeBoer finished off, and he's doing well there.
Yeah,
Going back to
yeah,
Dallas.
Gully's looking well.
Gully was
Um,
a tough one to fill, but you can't harp on the guy for going and taking an opportunity somewhere else. Now, I
no,
really,
absolutely not.
I really feel like this is going to be, if this doesn't work where we do get eliminated in the first round, this isn't a complete bad thing either. But it's going to put finally the pressure now on the management team of building a team. Scotty Bowman, or not Scotty Bowman, but
Dan
Mr.
Bowman,
Stan
Stan
Bowman.
Bowman.
Okay, it's you made you did some tweaking here and tweaking there since you've come on board. You
Yep.
were strapped with money, you were strapped with some bad contracts. You got rid of some of those bad contracts, and now you're going to have a good pile of money there for you. Now you have no excuses, or we can't think of any excuses for you to not put together a NHL caliber team like you did in Chicago with Joe Quenneville. You just needed, unfortunately, we need a different coach. So my question to you,
Well,
Matt,
yeah.
my question to you, Matt, as you sit there, just maybe pop it up on your computer. Let's just say the decision is to move away from Knobloch. Who's available that catches your eye? That you'd be like, yeah, I like this guy. Peter DeBoer is gone because I think he went to the Islanders because after they let go of Patrick Waugh. We were never big fans of John Tortorella, although it looks like his head game going into Vegas is not to be that abrupt coach. Who is there somebody on there where you're like, Kev, we need this coach, or Kev, the best that we can get is this guy?
Well, I personally, Kev, I don't think the problem lies. Well, okay, so the coaches are a problem because they're not playing the players right. But
Yeah, they're
I
getting out
truly
coached.
believe, I know so they are a part of the problem. I believe Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson are also a major part of this problem. Um,
Well, you can't.
Stan
Maybe
Bowman,
Jeff Jackson, possibly. I will
well,
agree with that.
well,
But Stan Bowman hasn't been able to do very. He was handed a very tight cap space. Plus, he was handed really bad contracts, right? And that plate is going to be cleared now come the off season. He can
but
get rid of the Adam Henriques. He's already got rid of the Vander Canes. He's going to have a lot more money. I think really at this point, like he did do some good tweaks. I think Dickinson and Connor Murphy were really good. Some people thought that the price tag was a little deep. I think that if you can re-sign Connor Murphy, then the price tag was good. Um, Jack Roslovic, that kind of deal that he had there. He managed to get rid of Andrew Mangiapane. That was one of his mistakes, but he fixed his mistake, and that was part of the Connor Murphy getting Colton Dock. Colton Dock is I like that kid. So what I'm getting at is I'm not, and I told you this at the beginning of the year, I'm not going to evaluate Bowman until he has more tentacles into the position, but not only that, he has something to prove. Like he has the tools and the stuff, to be able to prove what he can do. When you got no money, you got no money. You got bad contracts that you need to try to get rid of and hope to God that you can come away with a steal. The Andrew Mangiapane one was a decent one, but it's only decent if you can re-sign Connor Murphy. Colton Dock is on RFA. I think he's a restricted free agent at the end of this year, but he's RFA. And
yeah, he's an RFA.
And then you look at guys like like the other contracts, like the Vander Kane one. I was happy he got rid of that, and we didn't get much back on it. So looking back on it, at first I was against it, but then I was like, I'm okay with it now. But I'm not going to start really critiquing him until I see what he does this year with what he has, because now he has the opportunity to put something together properly. As far as the coaching is concerned, I'm sorry to tell you this, but he got us to the first Stanley Cup. He came in, took over for Jay Woodcroft, took the team, coached the team to a first Stanley Cup playoffs, went to 7 games, coached them to a second Stanley Cup playoffs, and got us to the 6th game. This year, it's a coaching staff that he hired. There's no Golly. Golly's gone. Bye-bye, Golly. He made changes on I think he let go of somebody else. I can't remember. But at the end of the day, that's his coaching staff. And if we get kicked out of this first round, I don't know what to tell you, man. If you can't get it around people's heads in the 82 games that you had in the offseason, during the season, which by the way, our season was not good. Like we were nowhere close to what we were in the last 2 years. I would feel comfortable if he could turn this around and get us. He would have to, like you said, I don't know if he will even have a position, even if we don't get to the conference final. Although we are at 28 minutes here. Did you want to stop for the cause here?
Let me finish my point, and then we'll pause for the cause.
Okay.
So Stan Button has also handed out his fair share of bad contracts. Yeah?
Okay.
Now, David Tomashek, we can't say that was a fucking that was an experiment. So I'll give him that one. And it didn't pan out. I like David Tomashek. He was really good. But he just didn't fit in the NHL.
Right.
Andrew Mangiapane, yet another experiment that went miserably wrong. He picked the wrong horse. Now, granted, he did pick up Jack Roslovic, but only because he got stupid lucky. And let's not forget, he handed out the Trent Frederick contract too. Now,
yeah, okay.
He also signed the Evan Bouchard deal.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's right.
His track record as a GM with the current team is not good. The only guy that's really panning out that he signed for big dollars is Jack Roslovic, and Jack Roslovic fell into his fucking lap. So, had Jack Roslovic not fallen into our laps, and he ended up elsewhere, we'd still be stuck with Andrew Mangiapane. And how bad would the team look then, Kev? I cannot let Stan Bowman off the hook on this stuff.
Okay, well that's fair, I guess. Yeah, I never really thought about that. Yeah.
Chris Knobloch is doing the best job he can with the personnel that he has been provided. Now, granted, Knobloch isn't doing a good job, but he has limited tool. So I can honestly, I think if we lose to the Duck in the first round, the GM needs to go, the coach needs to go. We need to retool for the next. So Connor McDavid's next 2 years aren't a complete fucking wash in Edmonton. Period.
Do you go for your buddy? Do you go for your buddy Brad Treliving? Get some Brad Treliving to come down here and run a hockey team? The greatest GM of all time?
Into that, Charm. We're going to get into that after the break. So we're going to pause for the cause.
Hello, everybody. This is Slapstick Decals and Stickers, a proud sponsor of the Hougie and Grinder podcast. Get at us for your decals, stickers, banners, and more. You can reach us on Facebook or call us at 403-505-9693. Keep slapping.
And we're back. Now, Kev, you asked me before the break if I'd go with Brad Treliving.
You better fucking say no.
Why in the fuck would I want Brad Treliving?
Thank God. Okay.
Come on, Kevin. Come on.
You done some stupid shit before, dude. You done some stupid shit. You pulled off some stupid ideas.
No.
I was like, fuck me, man.
Calgary. He dicked Calgary, and then he went and dicked Toronto. He's not doing it to a fucking third Canadian team. Period.
Okay, so who are you going to go for? Who out there has a pedigree?
I mean, I don't know. That's the thing. Right now, I don't know. I mean, let's face it. I like the team that Ken Holland built. I probably would have talked to Holland about an extension. I'm not sure. There might have been bad blood between Jeff Jackson and Ken Holland, which is why he didn't get extended. But to fire a GM that has gotten you, or to not extend a GM that has gotten you to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals, there's got to be something more than just, I'm kind of out of it, especially because Holland didn't retire. He went down to LA. He's built a fucking good team in Los Angeles with a lot of ex-Edmonton Oilers. Let's talk about that too. Is there's the fingerprints that Ken Holland is putting on the LA Kings are very similar to the fingerprints he put on the Edmonton Oilers that went to the back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. Now, I would maybe approach somebody like Rick Tocchet to be a GM. I like the way Tocchet plays. I like the way he built teams. Now, granted, Philly's got him locked down again, but maybe a step up the fucking ladder. He's allowed to, he's allowed to talk or allowed to get, at the very least have the discussion. But as for coaches, you've got to get somebody that'll fucking lay the hammer down. I mean, and tell these guys, look, you're not fucking playing up to snuff. Look, Evan Bouchard and Darnell Nurse and Jake Wallman and Connor fucking Ingram and, these guys that aren't playing up to snuff. You got to tell them, look, you guys fucking suck. And if you keep fucking sucking, you're going to be eating popcorn in the fucking nosebleeds, and we'll bring up somebody playing for the fucking Condors to fill your slot. What can fucking happen? You lose again? Oh, well, who fucking cares? You have to make an example of these guys and make them accountable for their fucking shitty play. Because nobody's done it to Darnell Nurse. Absolutely nobody. In his fucking tenure, nobody knows accountable.
Do you think that in the off season, because I'm hearing more and more conversation about Darnell Nurse in the off season, and there are people that that either have no credibility to say what they say, or they have all the credibility in the world. But there's rumors going around that depending on where the Oilers finish off this year, without a Stanley Cup would be the worst case scenario. There's more talk about possibly Nurse saying, okay, I think it's time for you guys to find me a new spot, because either he's getting the hate from, like the Stuart Skinner treatment. I'm sure he's not liked right now. He hasn't been liked for many years. Like, if you're Darnell Nurse and you had a fucking decent bone in your body where you're like, hey, I'm part of the issue here. I signed a bad contract, not so much that it's a bad contract where I didn't make enough money because I'm playing great, but more like I make way too much money and I am not. Do you as a player with a head on his shoulders is like, maybe I need to go somewhere else and try it somewhere else?
Well, Kev, for me, if I were Darnell Nurse, that probably would have came a year ago or 2 years ago. Now again, we don't know the dynamics inside the fucking dressing room. We're not insiders. We don't play in the NHL. So we don't fucking know. But for me, after Darnell Nurse's lackluster performance for the third year in a row on that fucking contract, last year after the finals, when they approached me, I probably would have been willing to waive that no movement clause and said, yeah, okay, for the good of the team that drafted me, that signed me, that gave me this big fucking deal. He's still, even if Edmonton retains and he goes elsewhere, he's still making his fucking 9.5.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where the check comes from. He's still making that money. Now, he was one of Connor McDavid's best friends, allegedly. So I get it. You want to play with your buddies and you want to win a Stanley Cup with your buddies, but we're back to the fucking point of nobody is holding him accountable for his shit play. It's no different than Evan Bouchard. Every time Evan Bouchard when he coughed up the puck at the fucking blue line against LA and they went down and fucking scored and LA beat us 1-0 in the second last game of the regular season. And he was out there the very next shift. If I were fucking Paul Coffey, his ass would have been stapled to that fucking bench for the rest of at the very least, fucking first period. At the very least. You do not fucking move. Sit at the end next to Calvin Pickard and you count the fucking spines on the water bottles and you make sure they're fucking full and cold for the guys that are actually playing. Because you're playing like shit. It's that fucking simple. And nobody's done that to Evan Bouchard. Nobody's done it to fucking Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
And nobody's fucking done it to fucking Jake Walman. And I understand that these guys are considered offensive defensemen. But you still have to defend. You're a defenseman. You want to be all offense? Go be a fucking winger, like Dustin Byfuglien did. Yeah. Dustin Byfuglien started as a defenseman. I remember the first hockey draft that I took him in, the playoff draft, he was a defenseman, and he played forward for the fucking Jets the entire fucking playoffs, and guys were pissed off because, well, he's only got fucking 4 or 5 defensemen rather than 6, and, well, it's not my fault. He's listed as a fucking defenseman, but he's offensive. So go be a fucking winger. Evan Bouchard, go fucking be a winger. Darnell Nurse, go be a fucking winger. Jake Walman, go be a winger. If you can't fucking defend, don't be a fucking defenseman. It's that fucking simple.
You were talking about accountability. You were talking about accountability and how these players are not being taken with the accountability of their piss poor play. Is that not what you just said? Like, they're not
exactly
taking account. Okay. So that's also part of the coach problem, because the coaches should be the ones handing that out. So there's another thing about, like, I would not want a coach to be a coach without handing out the accountability for piss poor play, or else this is going to keep going. They're going to be like, well, he's not going to give me shit. I'm still going to get my same ice time. I'm still going to get my same money. I'm still going to get all this, whatever, water under the bridge. If that's what Knobloch is doing, and that's kind of what I'm feeling that you're telling me, Knobloch is an issue then.
Yeah. Oh, I agree that Knobloch's an issue. Now, to me, the guy to straighten that around is, well, Joel Quenneville. I mean, you look at the Ducks roll 4 lines. They fucking play hard all 4 lines because they buy in and they're held accountable. There's only 2 guys on this fucking team, Kev, that you cannot say anything to when they're having a bad game, and that's Connor fucking McDavid and Leon fucking Draisaitl. Everybody else should be fucking stapled to the bench if they're having a bad fucking game.
Yeah.
And then it becomes next man up mentality. There's 2 guys in the first 3 games of this fucking playoffs that have had the heart that you want to fucking see from the fucking team, and that is Vasily Podkolzin and Kasperi Kapanen. Those are the only fucking 2 that I would say have played 100% effort for the entire fucking playoff so far. The only 2.
The other thing too is I wanted to, maybe you can look up the stats here, but in the last playoffs, in the first round when we went against LA, wasn't LA dominating us? Like, weren't we down 2-0, and then the resilience of the Edmonton Oilers with the court, or with the team they had then, came back and ended up winning that series. I don't know if it was in 7 or 6. So what I'm trying to say is, with the core that we have, which is going to be the same core that we had last year and the year before, the Nuge, the Nurses, the Connor McDavids, Leon Draisaitl, Hyman, this isn't new to them. This isn't new to even Bouchard. This isn't new to Ekholm. It might be new to other players like Matt Savoy, Ingram, Jari, Connor Murphy, but this isn't new to Wallman either. This isn't new to Emberson. Emberson's been at 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals. This isn't new to them, so they know how. Because you got to remember, LA last year was a fucking beast. What did they lose? Like 7 home games out of the whole fucking series, like the whole season. Like they were unfucking believably good. And they're not quite where they were this year than they were last year. They squeaked into the playoffs, but this team can still turn this around. Now the coaching, though, I'm just trying to remember who was the coach for LA last year. And it doesn't matter. He's not a Joe Quenneville at the end of the day. So, this should be a really good test for Knobloch to get this, because he was always, like, even Paul Maurice, like, had him pretty high up there when asked, like, about hiring him on, and he said, Chris Knobloch is not an assistant coach. He's a coach. And he's he's done it. But I'm just thinking, like, the Oilers aren't out. They've been to this song and dance before. They've been to the song and dance before.
But, Kev, you're missing some veteran leadership in that room too. You're missing a Corey Perry, who's been to the Stanley Cup Finals. More than half the guys on the team have been to the fucking playoffs.
Yeah, but he's not. He was only
fucking warrior.
Yeah, but he's not very vocal though. He's. I mean, yeah, he had that one vocal outspat, and people
have you
think
been
that.
Around, Kev?
Well, you hear it from everybody. You hear it from Connor McDavid. You hear it from Leon Draisaitl. He's not the one guy that talks a lot, right? He goes out there and he plays and leads by that. I mean, he did have his little freak out last year, but people were saying that he was pointing the finger at Evander Kane. Okay, sure, you don't have Corey Perry, but then if Evander Kane is that person, you know what I mean? Like a little bit of a crybaby cancer person inside the dressing room. You don't have that in the dressing room either anymore. So, Yeah, I mean, but you're right. We were missing some leadership. We're also missing some pretty good penalty killers. Like I really do still miss Connor Brown a lot.
Yeah.
Matt Savoy,
Dickinson hurt.
Matt Savoy
Dickinson
has
being out hurt. Yeah.
Matt Savoy has helped with Matt Savoy had a good year. Like let's not
did.
take anything away
He
from
did.
that kid. He's great on the penalty kill for the most part. But you're right. There is some leadership, but then there is some like you don't have a Kulak anymore. There's a
That's right.
stay-at-home defenseman. That's why Connor Murphy's there. I'm just trying to think here. Connor Brown's not there anymore, and he was like a team kind of energy kind of guy. Always joking around and stuff. Who else? Who else are we missing here? Who else stands out besides a Corey Perry that had that leadership? Not Evander Kane. Kulak. Skinner's gone.
Well, there's a lot of new faces in the room, right? I mean, Cody Ceci, you miss him. He was a reliable. As much as everybody hates Cody Ceci, he was a fairly reliable defenseman.
Oh, he's been gone for a while now, though. He wasn't there last year.
Yeah, but even still, again, the year we had him, we went to Game 7 of the final. The year we didn't, we lost in 5. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that you're chipping away that little bit of leadership package. So, and now we don't know if Evander Kane was the cancer in the room. We don't know if Corey Perry was a cancer in the room, right? To me, it feels like this team is missing something.
Yeah.
Still, we're not there, and I don't think Connor McDavid is that guy that takes charge and stands up and yells and screams. And yeah, we seen that piece on the Prime NHL behind the scenes when he's fucking yelling about it's the finals. And I don't think Connor McDavid's that guy. I think, and Corey Perry, like you said, wasn't that guy either. But Corey Perry would go out and fire the team up. He'd get a big hit, or he'd get a fight, and I think that silly Todd Colson is trying to fill that role.
Yeah, and I think it it'd be nice to see. Like I'm going to tell you something right now. Like I really feel that Colton Dach could be that fucking antagonizer. I really do. I feel that he could do the job probably better than Frederick can. Like,
yeah, I agree.
He's smiling at everybody, and Carlos Lazar could be that guy too. He's kind of like below the radar kind of antagonizer too. But Colton Dach, he just plays the body hard. He had a Gordie Howe, I think, in his last game or the game before the last game of the season. Got into a fight.
Against the Canucks.
Yeah, fight, assist, and a goal. And he's just, because his brother is Kirby Dach, as everybody knows. Plays for the Montreal Canadiens, 3rd overall pick in his respective draft year. Colton Dach, I believe you can look it up, was 62nd in the 2nd round of his draft year. But they're two different players, and you see it on Oilers Now or Oilers Plus when they're making that trade. About he's more of a grimier, get in your face, antagonizer, loves to play the body, plays that rough, heavy game. And that's what we need. He is young, but I really think he could turn into like maybe your new Cassian, right? Or man, I've seen some hits that he does. He's not afraid to play the body, dude. I like that kind of game. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how tonight they play again, right? They're playing the 3rd. Is it tonight? They're playing game 4?
Tonight, Sunday night. Yeah, game 4.
So we'll see how that goes. We're getting to the top of the hour here. Before we go, I wanted to know what your thoughts were on one thing here. I'm surprised we didn't talk about it. I'll be honest with you. I didn't really look too far into it. I was just like, I was already busy doing something else. And I was like, okay, I'll just bring it up during the show. And Matt could tell me what the hell happened and if this guy got beat up for doing it. But what's up with the rotisserie chicken getting thrown onto the ice?
I don't know. I seen that, and somebody the first reports were it was a duck, but it was a fucking rotisserie chicken. Now, number one, they don't sell rotisserie chickens at fucking Rogers Place. So
Yeah, I don't know how that got
my question to my wife is like, how the fuck? So going through Rogers, you have the fucking metal detectors and the bag sweeps and fucking all this shit, right? I mean,
Yeah.
standard practice in any big venue anymore. How in the fuck do you sneak a rotisserie chicken into the fucking arena? Did somebody's old lady wearing a fucking dress and she's holding this fucking rotisserie chicken between her legs and she waddles in the door? Or, was it a fucking, somebody got one tit bigger than the other and so they stuffed the rotisserie chicken in the other side to get in? Like, I don't know, man. How do you sneak a rotisserie chicken in? And yes, whoever threw that, fuck that guy, because you've caused a delay in the fucking game. You've possibly wrecked the ice, and you wasted a perfectly good fucking rotisserie chicken from Costco, which they're really fucking good. So
Yeah.
fuck that guy. I hope he got beat up in the fucking parking lot.
I hope
and
so
I hope
too.
he fucking is banned from fucking Rogers because it's stupid. It was like when we threw the octopus every game in Detroit.
Yeah.
It was always before the fucking puck drop. And it was tradition. It was a ritual. And I always thought it was kind of cool. And like the rats in fucking Florida, I mean, that's so fitting.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you around.